The history of the Dominican Republic begins with the arrival of the first inhabitants, the Taíno people, who came from South America around 8,000 years ago. They were a peaceful tribe who lived in small villages and were skilled farmers, fishermen and artisans. In the year 1492, Christopher Columbus reached the shores of the island and claimed it for the Spanish Empire. He named the island Hispaniola after Spain, and it would be under Spanish rule for the next 300 years. The Spaniards began to enslave the Taíno people, forcing them to work in the gold mines and on the plantations. They also brought with them African slaves to work in the sugar and tobacco fields. The Taíno population was decimated by the slave trade and the introduction of European diseases. In the 17th century, the island was divided between two colonies, Santo Domingo in the south and Santiago in the north. Santo Domingo became the capital of the colony of La Nueva Española, and grew to become the largest city in the Caribbean. Its strategic location made it an important port for trade and a key part of the triangular trade route between Europe, Africa and the Americas. By the 19th century, the colony had become very wealthy due to the production of sugar, coffee, cacao, and indigo. However, this wealth was concentrated in the hands of a few, and the living conditions for the majority of the population were very poor. There were frequent rebellions and uprisings against the Spanish colonial rule, but they were all brutally suppressed. Finally, on February 27, 1844, a group of intellectuals and soldiers led by Juan Pablo Duarte, Francisco del Rosario Sánchez, and Matías Ramfis, declared the independence of the Dominican Republic from the Spanish and the neighboring Haitian Empire. This was after centuries of struggle and sacrifice by the people of the island against colonial rule. The first government of the new nation was a dictatorship led by General Pedro Santana, who ruled for 11 years. In 1865, the Dominican Republic was briefly occupied by the United States, but it was restored the following year after a popular uprising. In 1866, the country experienced the first of many coups d'état, which resulted in the establishment of a military dictatorship. In 1916, the United States invaded the Dominican Republic and occupied it for 8 years. This was done with the support of the National Party, which had come to power through a coup in 1912. The U.S. occupation was very unpopular, and there was a constant struggle against the American forces. In 1924, the occupation ended and the country was returned to the control of the National Party. However, the party's leader, Horacio Vázquez, soon began to face opposition from various groups. In 1930, Rafael Leonidas Trujillo, a military officer who had gained prominence during the U.S. occupation, led a coup and overthrew Vázquez. Trujillo established a dictatorship that lasted for 30 years. During his rule, he modernized the country's infrastructure, but he also suppressed any opposition to his regime, and he kept the country isolated from the rest of the world. In 1960, a group of army officers, led by Major General Rafael Fka Salui Ayala, overthrew and killed Trujillo. This event was known as the 60s Revolution. A provisional government was established, and in 1962, the country held its first free elections in many years. In 1965, there was a civil war between the supporters of the new government and those of the former dictator. The war ended with the assassination of the new president and the country descending into chaos. The neighboring countries of the Dominican Republic and Haiti sent troops to restore order, but they were unable to do so. In 1966, the United States sent in Marines to restore peace and the country was occupied until 1968. Since then, the Dominican Republic has been a democracy with a history of coups and civil unrest. In the 1990s, the country experienced a period of rapid economic growth, but this growth has not been evenly distributed, and there is still a large gap between the rich and the poor. Despite this, the Dominican Republic is now one of the most prosperous countries in the Caribbean. It is a popular tourist destination and has a growing economy. The country has also made great strides in areas such as education and healthcare. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.